Greetings, everyone. This is Coach Toyin. Welcome to today's session. You're in for a great treat. Today, I'm going to be covering Quantum Leap Your Emotions, Feelings, and Attitudes. So, greetings to you, those who are joining from around the world. And if you're also Team Replay, you're welcome. Thank you so much for sharing your times and space here today. So, for those who already know what to expect, listen, we're going deep. Okay, if you hang around me, you're going to go really, really deep. Okay, so greetings. Let us know where you're joining from. Do like, subscribe, comment, share. And if anything I say resonates with you, or if you have any questions, drop those questions as well. I do love to engage. Typically, when I'm hosting live sessions like this, I love the engagement, so it's not just a one way street or conversation. Okay, so let me get right to it. I have my notes as usual, tons of things I want to share, lessons to share today. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I know Team Replay, people usually come back to the beginning as they join us as the session keeps running through. Okay, so it's going to get warmed up, right? I know it's listen, the conversations we have here, they're life-changing, they're transformational. So let me start with lesson one. Okay, I usually have my notes, and that way I stay focused. I don't want to get too distracted. I come here on a mission and I want to fulfill my mission. Okay, so step one, lesson one. The first thing I want to share is that if you want to transform your life, okay, this is about life transformation. If you're fine, keep moving. This is not for you. But if you have a quest, you want to transform, you want to quantum leap, you want higher levels of success, in addition to your technical skills, okay? Because we have all gone to school, you have 10 degrees, you know, you're an engineer, you're a lawyer, you've acquired all kinds of technical skills. The first 20 years of everybody's life, if you're in the Western world, right, you have been immersed in an education system that makes you technical, right? That teaches you technical skills about life in terms of biology, chemistry, mathematics, the science, right? Technical skills, you've acquired technical skills. However, the gap today, and this is what I'm covering today, right, is that you now have to develop life skills, okay, beyond just technical skills. So the things I'm covering here, because on the technical side, I teach technical business skills as well, right? However, for you to really unlock greater success for yourself, for you to quantum leap into success, it goes beyond technical skills. If you put two people together that share the same technical skills, that embody the same, they went to the same school, they learned the same things. Trust me, 10 years after, 20 years after, the differentiator is not the school they went to. The differentiator is not the books. There's not the technical books that you read together. You have 30 people in the same class. 20 years after, their success level is not the same. So what is the difference? What the difference and the game changer is this life wisdom, ancient wisdom, right? Self-mastery. That is the biggest change, okay? And transformation you can ever give to yourself, right? Your technical skills will go a long way if you grow, okay, your life skills, your energetic skills, your emotional skills, your people skills, your communication skills, your leadership skills. And these are the things nobody teaches you in college. The traditional education system does not prioritize life skills unless you go and take extra courses, right? If you're in school and you decide to go beyond you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an accountant, if you choose to decide to learn other things, that's up to you. You see, the traditional education system leaves your own life in your own hands. Whatever you do with your life, whoever you become is your own cup of tea. It's not the government's problem. Okay? What they promise you is technical skills if you follow the curriculum, but your life, your health, your well-being, right? Your mental health, your relationship, right? Quality of life, it's in your hands. It's not in the hands of the government. It's not in the hands of your teacher. It's not in the hands of your employer. It's in your own hands. And so many people leave this as abandoned project. They stumble into life without life skills, or some life skills that your family may have given you, but not enough to quantum leap. So I'm just creating awareness with this first lesson to say, let's understand how we got here. Let's create awareness why people are struggling. It's not because of the school or the degrees on your wall. You're well learned in technical skills. You can do things, right, that your employers pay you for. But the moment you start moving into higher levels of wealth and success, you're going to realize that your technical skills will not take you far. However, if you understand the things I teach and coach on, that is the game changer for your life. Okay? I graduated top of my class. So I'm telling you, as somebody, if you bring your resume and I bring my resume, trust me, I'll beat you hands down. Now trust me. But I'm trying to tell you, my technical skills is not why these things, like, guys, just follow me. My first degree mathematics. So if it is IQ, I'm talking. Okay, gosh. Welcome, everyone. Let's cool it down. I'm going to get really hot here. It's going to get hot very soon. That's why I usually encourage you to get into a comfortable space, preferably if you are by yourself. You know, somewhere cozy, somewhere where you can think, somewhere where you can reflect, somewhere where you can process what I'm sharing, somewhere where you can download and chew on and digest these things I'm talking about and create awareness and activation for yourself. That's why I always recommend, don't be multitasking in my space. Like I tell my students, get your tea, get your coffee, get your pen, get your paper, relax, get into a relaxed position, because this is where you're going to be able to unlock greater value in this conversation. So the first thing I'm calling out is that if you want to transform your life, when you decide you want more out of life, please, you have to go beyond your technical skills. I realize that many people are holding on to technical skills as everything. Oh, you got an A in biology. You got an A, right? You graduated. Trust me, if you graduated from a technical school, now you need to graduate from life school. Life is going to test us. Like life, not just the school system, life in of itself has its own structure. You see, when it comes to your relationship, your kids, marriage, business, relationship, any of those things, it doesn't matter what school you went to. This is life, your life. Okay, so please, this is so important beyond just the school system, beyond just technical skills that many people take pride on, and you should take pride in your accomplishments, right? Listen, that's why I said, if I bring my resume, I have a couple of degrees myself. My husband is a professor. Listen, I'm a business instructor, so I'm coming to you as somebody that has, a nice, background in technical skills. But I'm also sharing with you that the game changer goes beyond that. When it comes to relationship, that ain't going to help you. When it comes to emotions, feelings, no. But what I'm teaching you today will transform your life for real. So when you want to achieve greater success, self-development, okay, is the key. And that is 1,000% up to you and I. How you develop yourself, okay, that is up to you. And if you don't develop yourself, that's up to you. You bear the consequences. Because as long as you can show up to the workplace and do what people are telling you to do, the social contract you have with them, they'll pay your salary and go. But when you get home at night and you put your head on the pillow at night, how you function in reality, what you experience out of your life, the beauty of your life, your employer is not asking you if you are well or not. As long as you show up and you can do what they're telling you to do and you can deliver the results, they pay you and you go. That's the world we're coming from. But where we're going to as a society, this is why this work is so important. People are not going to survive with that mentality anymore. And so there's a need to call awareness to say, take on this responsibility. Don't outsource yourself. to the world. Okay? So, number 2 that I want to cover is then, who is the self? This self we are talking about that you have to develop. Who is she? Who is he? Self-improvement, self-development, self-this, self-actualization, self-this, self-awareness, self-leadership, self-this, self-activation, self. Who is this self we are talking about? The real you. The real you, the real you, the real you that is somewhere hiding, somewhere inside you that nobody can see. And each self is at different developmental stages. Who is the self? Who are you? Self-discovery, self-actualization. Why do we use those phrases? Self-development. Who is this self that didn't go to school? You know, let me tell you, your mind could have gone to school. Your mind, okay, has been taken to school. Your mind has been trained to function a certain way. Your mind has been programmed by the system, by culture, by nature. Okay? And now that mind can be on autopilot, performing as it was programmed to perform. And you, the self, may be in the back seat. You may not be the one fully leading your life. Trust me when I say you are not your mind, but your mind may have been hijacked and programmed to be heading in a direction before you even knew who you were. So each person's self, it is at different developmental stages. When we start talking about autonomy, independent thinking, self-agency, is that depending on the culture, nature, nurture that you received, yourself may not be strong enough to lead you to where you want to go. Guys, I have to break this thing down. It is too important. The self is not the mind. You are not your mind. You are not your mind. However, you see, your mind can be set on autopilot. It's like a car. I want to make this very practical. Hi, greetings, everyone. If you want to ask a question, feel free to type it. And for those on the audio platform, you can raise your hand. You can join the conversation on stage. You can engage. And we also have a slide that I've prepared that I'm teaching on today. Okay? So at this juncture, let me break this down. Self. Who is the self? The self versus the mind. The self versus the body. The self versus your heart. Who are you? And what I'm also sharing is that your mind may have been trained to think a certain way, believe certain things, okay, and to act in certain ways that set you on autopilot. Train up a child in the way the child should go, and when the child is old, the child will not depart from it. By design, is that when you came into this world as a child, as a baby, you didn't have control, you didn't have power, you didn't have autonomy, you weren't an independent thinker, you were dependent. And most of what adults are going through today started with that programming, how you were programmed when you were powerless, when you didn't have the development, the full development of self, where you were fully dependent for your care, for your food, for your welfare, for everything. You didn't have authority, you didn't have agency, you didn't have what you needed to have to live your life the way you wanted to live it. But you were told and programmed, you were educated by nature, nurture, culture on who to be. And what is trained is typically your mind. Your mind receives all that programming, and the mind tunes your nervous system and trains your body on how to perform. With or without your permission, as long as you are sitting under authority, and that authority has power and influence over you. Whoever has greater authority or power over your life, over your mind, will rule the body, will tell the body what to do. And that autopilot, really, when we now start talking about spiritual awakening of the self, remember I'm saying the self is not the mind, but the mind may be ruling the show based on old programming. Your memories, your past, has shaped your belief system. People have told you to be, how to act, on and on and on. So what's now happening, right? Including your teachers told you how to get your hay, what you have to do to get hay. So it's either you obey them or you fail. Your parents told you, like, listen, those who were in authority when you were growing up, if you don't obey them, if you don't do what they want you to do, you fail. They will fail you because they have autonomy, agency over your life, right? Today, too, if you're working with an employer, if you don't do what your boss asks you to do, your salary, you see, the school system is a replica of the life you're living today, unless you do the work I'm teaching. Okay? So who is the self? Who is the self? Do you know yourself? Know thyself, but do you know yourself? Or do you know all the things that your mind is telling you? Are you only listening to what your mind has been programmed to replay? Yes. If you sit quietly and it's the thoughts running through you, are those your thoughts or programmed thoughts? Malcolm says, who is the self? Yes, it's a question. Who are you? If I tell you who are you, many people will say, oh, I went to this school. You'll be describing yourself based on the programming. Yeah, the programming. So the thoughts in your mind, are they yours? Are you thinking the way you want to think, or are you thinking the way they want you to think? Listen, I'm going. That's why I said get comfortable. Please get comfortable. Please, I beg you, get comfortable, because when you attempt to answer these questions, there will be some realization. Okay, the thoughts in your mind, are they yours or are they programmed? Who is running the show? Okay, and what developmental stage is the self? How energetically mature? Do you feel in control? Let's just ask that question. Do you feel fully in control of your reality? Are you the one in charge, or is the mind still on autopilot? Do you say what you mean, and do you mean what you say? The reason is because the day you take on the full responsibility for yourself, it also comes with accountability, responsibility. Maturing comes with responsibility. Your quantum leap comes with more responsibility. And so those who are not responsible, or those who are not ready to take on the full responsibility of their next level dimension, they tend not to mature. Let me give you an example in practical ways. When a child is born, who is responsible for the food? Parents. When the child is 5 years old, part of growth is you'll be adding on responsibility and say, okay, go and bring your plate. When the child is 10, you want the child to be able to do more for themselves. So you say, you know what, the food is in the kitchen, go and serve yourself. When the child is 15, then you're saying, you know what, you should be able to cook spaghetti or mix something up. When the child is 18, 19, you're expecting the child to add on responsibility and to be able to have the common sense to bring some milk and some bread. When the child is at a certain age, 20 something, you say, you know what, it's time for you to mature and go and start your own family. So naturally, maturing, even in physical realm, adds on, it moves responsibility and authority away from the caregivers onto the person. The same ought to be true emotionally, intellectually, spiritually. But many people do not gain right, their independence. You might gain independence physically, you move out, but the assignment is yourself may still be energetically entangled, entwined, enmeshed, dependent for sustenance. That work has not happened. Spiritually, you are dependent. Intellectually, you are dependent. Okay? Emotionally, energetically, you are still entangled in certain relationships that makes you feel out of control. Okay, so each person are at different stages. I just gave that example to say physically we allow people to mature, to grow, and we use age markers to determine by 2 be able to do this, by 5 be able to do that, by 10 you should be able to do this, by 20 you should be able to do this, by 30 please, if you've not achieved this, people will question you physically. When it comes to the self as well, when we say self-development, is that there are certain expectations that as you develop yourself, you are supposed to take on certain responsibilities for your own energetic well-being, internal well-being, emotional well-being, physical well-being, mental well-being, spiritual well-being. You are supposed to take on certain types of responsibility. But what is happening today is that many people who haven't developed the self has outsourced their spiritual growth, their emotional growth, their intellectual growth to the world out there. You've not taken it on. So you depend on your pastor, you depend on your this person, on that person energetically. I'm not talking about interdependence and relational LD relationship. That's not what I'm talking about. Because when you mature yourself, that is when you can actually love in an healthy way. That's when relationships are mutual. That's when you can actually contribute at higher levels to life. Just as physically, when you can make your own money, you can have your own job, you can buy your own house, you can rent it, then you can start bringing more people and having children and taking on more responsibility for other people's well-being. Not before. So what I have seen is that if you don't mature spiritually, emotionally, energetically, intellectually, you still remain dependent. And many people, that's something that leads to a lot of entitlement. The government didn't do me this. Oh, this, and it leads to a lot of complaining. Complaining is complacency. All the restlessness, dysregulation is influenced by lack of self-development, because the person responsible for your emotional well-being is you. When you are a baby, you can say your mommy should soothe you. Oh, don't cry. It's okay. But when you're an adult, self-therapy, reparenting, these are the skills we are supposed to harm adults with, to be able to regulate our own emotions, to be able to move ourselves forward and not continue listen, there's interdependence, okay, mutual relationship, mutual respect, mutual love, but that only comes when you have emotionally healed. Anything before is dysregulation. There's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so let me keep moving. Well, let me see. There are comments now coming in. Okay. Marcus says, we usually describe ourselves with our name first. Okay. That's your name. You just said it. That's your name. Who gave you your name? Parents. You didn't give yourself your name. Okay. But beyond your name, who are you? Right? And this requires you to connect to connect back to yourself, because the self is lost. Like, listen, what's going on right now is that when you are lost in within yourself, there's you are not the one running the show, because part of self-development is when you mature, you can now take charge and you can now power your own life the way you want, as you so please. Because if you don't wake up, already your mind is in performance. It's performing in an autopilot way based on the programming. It will continue to do what it was told to do. But the question is, who told your mind to be doing those things? Because at the early stages of life, pretty much you are just an open book. People are just writing, telling you, go here, come here, come here, come here. Nature, culture, you are more in the obedience mode. Listen and learn and obey. Right? Don't challenge anybody. Don't ask any questions. Just say yes and do what you're told to do, and you'll be fine. And many of those things, they tune you to be afraid. They tune you to be helpless. They tune you to be weak. They tune you to be an agent of control. Unless you wake up and you do this work. And part of the work is to gain wisdom, life wisdom. Because it is with wisdom you navigate life. It's not just technical skills. Listen, you can know everything about everything out there, but it is wisdom that the self needs: ancient wisdom, spiritual wisdom, energetic wisdom, intellectual wisdom. That's what will actually help you to navigate the highway of life. And they don't teach it in school anymore. That's why we go into like philosophy, sciences, psychology. You actually have to expand your consciousness beyond just the technical skills you went to study in school. Yeah, Malcolm says, who am I beyond my name? Yes. Who are you beyond the name given to you? Because also that name too is given to you. And the you they gave a name to, trust me, is your physical representation. I'm talking about the self, your soul. Those who gave you that physical name, they may not even know your soul assignment. What God, the self that God created, the one that has a purpose, the one that has a calling, the one that has an assignment, the one that God falls in love with, the one that Jesus died for. That self is what we're talking about. Malcolm says, I get it now, coach. Myself goes beyond my name. Obviously, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. You are more than your name. And trust me, you can wake up tomorrow and go and change your name if you want. That's how powerful the self is when the self wakes up. If you don't like the name they called you, you can totally go and change your name today. After all, when women marry, they had on or that it's a decision they make and they change names. So if you change your name now, what happened to you, the self? Okay. So let me organize this, my notes as I'm covering it, and then I'll move on to the next one. So who is the self? And what is the self responsible for when the self matures, when the self is developed, when the self grows up energetically, spiritually, intellectually? Because there are 4 growth stages. Physical growth, you eat good food, you will grow, your age marker. Intellectual growth is 1,000% based on what you pour in your mind. Energetic growth, okay, is dependent on your heart posture. Guard your heart, your energetic posture, your vibration. Spiritual growth, your divine nature, frequency from heaven, your connectedness to the divine nature of God that is in you. 4 growth markers. Physically, just eat good food, sleep well, you'll be fine. Age marker, listen, your age is tied to how many times the earth has rotated around its axis and the sun since you were born. If you're 35, you've lived in 35 rotations around the sun. The earth, age markers and time is measured by the sun, moon, and stars, how they move. You don't have control over that. Just eat good food, sleep well, wake up, the days mark itself. Count, that counts. Okay, the markers is marked by day, night, next day, morning. How many years? A year is 365 movements of the earth around the sun. A day is how the earth rotates around its own axis, day and night. Whatever side is facing the sun is the day for you, wherever you're living. Whatever side, when you the side you're living in is away from the sun, that's night. You don't have any control. So let's get it right. Age marker, your age indicates, right, how many earth rotation around the sun you have enjoyed. We mark it with growth because as you are eating food, you are maturing physically. Your mind intellectually is part of your consciousness expansion, knowledge expansion. This is why they send you to school to learn technical things. If you are 50, you didn't go to school, the knowledge, you cannot have the knowledge somebody who became a doctor studied. So what you study enlightens you, enlightens your mind, illuminates your mind. When we talk about consciousness, and what you don't study is dark. You have zero knowledge about what you haven't studied. So the manual integration of knowledge inside your being is up to you. What you decide to read, learn, absorb, and integrate into your being will determine what you can manifest. Just like the food and groceries you go and buy will determine what physical food you can eat. If you buy junk, you eat junk. Mind too, you expose your mind to junk, right? You will integrate it into your being. Physical, intellectual, you grow intellectually, you can grow in knowledge when you invest in knowledge. You go to school, you learn. If you stop there, that's all you know. All you know is what you can use to create the life you want. Energetic growth, emotional growth. Your emotional well-being is tied to all the relationships that you're going to have. The relationship with yourself and the relationship with other people. Your energetic charge, your energy field, whether you think positively or negatively, your belief system, your embodiment of truth or lies will vibrate within you and create anxiety or peace of mind. Nobody tells you that in school, that your peace of mind, your rest is up to your energetic maturity. If you are not mature and skilled with your own emotions, you do damage to yourself and other people you're in relationship with. So we have to grow. When people don't grow, they mismanage energy and they cause chaos. You know those people you don't want to hang around. It's a mismanagement of energy. It's like throwing tantrums, energetic tantrums. Wah, 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 wah. It's real. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. Spiritual growth. You don't pray. You don't study to know the divine side of life, the metaphysical side of life. You don't read your Bible, you don't pray, you don't practice any form of spirituality. You're weaker because your power comes from that. Okay, I'm seeing a question coming. Let's see. If so, how do you resolve it, please? Okay, can one's name have spiritual implications on your identity? Oh, trust me. Listen, oh, oh, go and read the story of Jabez. The name his mom gave him caused him tremendous pain for his life until the self had to mature, develop a relationship with his divine God, and then he asked God to help him unpack those things and rewire himself. That's the role of prayer. That's spiritual maturity. But if he didn't spiritually mature and get strong enough to rewrite and override a programming that his mama gave him that was not in his favor, by the way. So this thing is very practical, Malcolm. But if you don't grow spiritually to take spiritual charge over your own life and destiny, and somebody else has spoken a word or a name over you, and that name is not in your favor, and what they called you is not in your favor, and you don't know what to do, and energetically you're still weak, spiritually you don't have authority, you've not practiced, you've not matured spiritually to be able to understand the superior relationship you can develop with God, and then go back to God. You don't have that relationship, you outsource it to people. You say pray for me, but you don't know how to pray for yourself because you have access through the blood of, you don't know how to override the implication of that. That's what I'm trying to talk about. That's another form of maturity. So every name has spiritual implication. Every word has a vibration. That's why we talk about negative thinking, positive thinking, negative words, positive talk words, because what I'm going to teach you today is how your words, thoughts become matter. They materialize. Mariali says God changed Abraham's name to Abraham and Jacob's name to Israel to write a new destiny for their life. Yes. One thing I'll just adjust is not to rewrite a destiny, is to realign. Because when you were sent here, God is not changing the destiny he has for you. What usually happens is that nature, nurture, culture, you may have taken on an identity that is in conflict with your destiny. Right? Over a year ago, I preached on a message, the birth of a new identity. When you think about Saul and Paul, and you can see this all through scriptures, which is why every Christian needs to understand, whether it's Gideon, whether it's David, whether it's Joseph, is that if you're not careful, you may have taken on an identity that is in opposition, that is opposite to you, your original destiny. And when we say spiritual awakening, is when God is calling you back home. Nature, nurture, culture may have thrown you off course automatically, right? You are running in a direction. Saul became a Christian killer. God had to encounter him again and say, hey, this energy you are using to pursue Christians, it's me you are using it against. Me that I gave you life. Let's change this theology, this bad theology, because Saul was trained by the most sophisticated scholars of his time. The technical knowledge of everything, Saul knew it. He knew it enough. He became a Christian killer, which was in opposition. So spiritual awakening, spiritual encounter, maybe God's calling you, let me give you a new name, because the life you are living based on your programming that you think is right. There's a way that seems right to a man, but the end is destruction. Is that many people may be set on a course heading in opposite direction that God created them for. That can happen. And you see all through scriptures where God will want to have a relationship with you to help you discover yourself, discover your power, discover his intention, discover his will for your life. You may be applying your will, doing other things, going here, going there, and God is watching you and saying, my daughter, come back home. That's not why I created you. So Marielle, absolutely, God is not going to change his mind. Like the day you were sent here, born, you came loaded with destiny already. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it. Right? You were loaded with blessings, with everything you need as a baby. Jesus was born. Before Jesus was even came to the earth, his purpose, like, listen, he was right, the world was prepared to say, Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming. Before he came, even the person that was going to birth him was planned. A body you have prepared for me. When he will be born was planned, was pre-planned. Who he will be born to, who his father will be, was pre-planned and preordained. The organized, right? God organizes when you are going to show up, how you're going to show up, who you are going to show up. You didn't have control. So God is not not random. You are predestined. Predestined. But what then happens? And let me share this. There are parents that, because of their own relationship with God, God can clue them in. You see, Samson, because his parents were very close to spiritual affairs, God clued them in. This child you're about to have, da 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 da. Don't do this, don't cut his hair, don't do this, don't give him wine, don't do this, da 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 da. Because his parents were spiritually mature and they had a relationship and God clued them in. Yeah? John, his parents clued him in. Elizabeth, da 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 da, Eli, da 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 da. In fact, angels shut up the mouth of a spiritual warrior. Don't use your mouth to unravel what God is trying to do. Those are parents that are spiritually clued in. So I'm trying to say who you're supposed to be, predestined. However, how you are nurtured, how you're groomed, what you are named, what you are set to do, you need to check again that programming, because the parents are the ones with the first responsibility for nurturing and training the child. The first assignment of your own nurturing is handed over to your parents, your caregivers. And if they messed it up, guys, you want the truth? We are going to laugh, but we will tell the truth. Tell the truth and let us be free. If they messed it up, one knowingly or unknowingly, because you're all human, if they did a bad job, can we just, because one of the things is maturity is be able to handle polarity of life. Those who love you may have hurt you, and those who hurt you may have loved you. Can you understand? Can you? This is about maturity. Most people cannot reconcile this truth I just shared. Those who loved you may have hurt you, and those who hurt you may have loved you. If you can even master that I just dropped, you will set yourself free. Because many people they don't understand that life is a polarity. It's cool. Two opposing truths may exist at the same time. And many people's mind, an energetic field, cannot reconcile. If you say you love me, then why did you do this? And because you hurt me, that means you didn't love me. Phew, that's not how life is. Two can exist at the same time. Both can exist at the same time. And your ability to reconcile the two is also maturity, energetic maturity, spiritual maturity. Right? I say it's like eating fish. That's one of the things God taught me. It's like there's fish, but that fish got bones, man. You have to learn how to debone. Part of maturity is removing the bone, eating the fish. That's going to be how you handle relationship going forward. Don't just throw the fish out. Maturity is, hey, here is bone, remove it. It mustn't choke you. Because there are many energetic things that relationship choke you. But it also has fish. How do you debone your relationships? And how do people debone you too? Because you too, you've got your stuff. Okay. Let me leave that alone. Let's keep going. Okay, it says this is enlightening. I didn't know that. Okay, welcome to your quantum leap. Okay, so I think we've covered some key things, right? So can I move on now to number 3? Let me see those on audio. Okay, let's move on to number 3. I just laid the foundation of the core of what I want to cover today. Okay, so 3 is, what do you then do with your energy? I've covered, sometimes within the Christian space, the day you hear energy, some people's mind will explode. Pooh! Is in New Age. Pooh! Come, let's educate ourselves. You are an energy being. When God says power, Holy Spirit, power, you need power. I gave you power. I breathe my life into you. What do you think God is endowing you with? What does power generate? When you consume power, what does it release? When you eat food, what is extracted from the food if it's not energy for your cells? When you do work, what are you burning? When you run, what are you burning? And when you don't run, that energy will be stored as fat cells. Soon enough, you don't burn every energy. You consume more than you are using up. It will soon show up in your frame. You eat more food than you burn every day. A year later, it will show up. It will be stored in fat cells. Things that are unseen will soon show up physically. It has physical implications when you don't consume enough energy or you don't burn the energy that you need to power your life. So please get comfortable with the phrase energy. You are an energy being, light force. You are the light of the world. Listen, there's a light in you that burns really. And this is the source of life that God gave us. So get comfortable with the word energy. What I also want you to write down, I'll tell you 3 types of energy. The state of energy, not just type, the state of energy that humans create. There's potential energy. Write it down. Potential. I'm going to talk about it and connect it to emotions, feelings, attitudes. There's potential energy. There's chemical energy. There is kinetic energy. Write that down. Okay? Potential energy. Okay? Chemical energy. Kinetic energy. You see, when your energy is not doing anything, just rested, it has potentiality, like possibility. You can feel, I can do, I can, but you are not doing. You're still in potential state. Everything you can do that you are not doing, who you can be that you are not being, everything you want you are not pursuing, you are in static, nothing. Yeah, your energy is at rest. No motion, right? Energy in motion. Kinetic. You are not in motion. You are not taking action. You want to run, you don't run. Potential. You have the potentiality, possibility to run. You have all it takes to run, but you are not using the energy to run. It stays that way. The day you decide you want to run, though, your potential energy will be converted. Okay? It will be converted to kinetic energy. When you start running, the energy of mobility, of action. Your energy states can be transferred, can change based on what you're doing, what you're thinking, right? And so this is part of what I want to cover today. Okay? This is part of what I want to cover today in terms of the states, the different states of your energy and the power, what unlocks it. Okay? Are you ready? This is the core. The first was just to get you activated to this is the most important thing anybody can learn right now. When I say quantum leap, okay? So when it comes to emotions, so first of all, you've written potential energy, chemical energy, kinetic energy. I'm going to map those three energy states to your emotions, feelings, and attitudes. Okay? I'm going to map the three energy states. I'll map it for you because when we say raise your vibration, raise your frequency, raise your thinking, raise your this, raise your that, is that the impact of your thoughts, the thoughts you are processing, the information you are processing, the words you're speaking, how they agitate your energy will determine what your energy will create and manifest. This is science. What it will create in your body, in your frame, and what you will transfer into the world. The impact you're going to make in the world. You are transferring energy, but you are the one giving instruction to what you are using your energy to create. So, for example, okay, when we talk about desire, okay, is everybody paying attention? Is this too listen, this is the life-changing stuff. You learn this, you can't be the same. You can't walk away doing the same thing, behaving the same way. You cannot. If you take any of my classes, PowerPoint, all of you cannot. In fact, I recommend when you join the YouTube membership, I recommend the game plan. Take the game plan, 12 strategies for winning in life and business first, right? It's a 3-hour masterclass, PowerPoint, everything. 3-hour masterclass. Listen, you rewire yourself for success. Now, coupled with that is a downloadable life strategy workbook in my school. But finish the masterclass, 3-hour masterclass, now available in the YouTube membership. It's meaty. Okay, good, Marielle. Good to see you, by the way. Like, listen, there are people that come here that we know each other in real life. Marielle is one of those people. So I know her in real life. So good to see you here. Definitely. So when we say desire, 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 let me give you a simple explanation. Just start thinking about desire as what you want to create. I want. Not because what usually happens is that people, if you don't train your mind, if you don't have mind, if you've not developed discipline, mind discipline, which is back to self, it is the self that is supposed to discipline the mind. If the self doesn't mature, the mind will just be doing whatever it wants to do. The mind is like a child. It can just, because it's like a car that has been programmed. A self-driving car will keep driving until you take it off autopilot. But usually, you can only take it off autopilot when you know how to drive better than your mind. So by design, until you grow and mature to drive your car intellectually, emotionally, energetically, spiritually, to rule your life, your mind has been programmed for you to be moving you through life, pre-programmed by your handlers. And so the internal conflict many people are facing today is when you disagree with what your mind is, where it's taking you, where it has taken you, what it is saying to you, what is inside your mind, yourself. You're like, where did this come from? Your own thoughts may not be in alignment with your mind thoughts. The reason is because I'm going to introduce something very, very advanced, extremely advanced. You can't find it anywhere else. Your mind, heart, and body, each domain has its own database. Super advanced. Your mind has where it stores information it is collecting from all over the earth, scanning your books. You're scanning your books. It's just collecting raw data, raw information, raw. Everything as you are moving around the world, the mind is an information, it gathers information. That's why if you sit with the wrong person, it can scan the thoughts of people, it can read the room, read your environment consciously, subconsciously. It has a database where it shops for information and it stores it. It's gathering information. It's like going to the store and shopping for raw ingredients, waiting for you the day you want to cook food. It wants to make sure you have enough things in your system to manifest, to create, to produce. So the mind is always gathering all kinds of. You are watching movie, okay? It's gathering information. You are going places, it's gathering. So your mind has a space where it gathers raw information you haven't used before. Your body has memory. When people say the body keeps score, it has memory that it holds for everything it has done before. This is how you train your body. That's where reflex action comes in. You learn when a child is learning how to walk. Until it learns how to walk, it doesn't have body, it doesn't have memory in the muscle memory. When we say muscle memory, when you train a child to do certain things, you do it 10,000 times, your body knows how to do it. Basketball, anything done in the physical, the muscle can keep memory. So the body also has its own database. What you have trained it to be able to do, it knows how to do and will continue to do. The heart has another database. This is the most precious side of it. When God says, guard your heart, for out of it are the issues of your life, is that your belief system, your value system, your identity, what you stand and erect your life on is in your heart. Belief is in your heart. I won't talk too much. I just want to call those things out so that you just be aware. When I say take my classes, complete, you will understand that the self is supposed to be managing the heart, the mind, the body. It's like you're an orchestrator. And if you are asleep, all these things will just be colliding. They will just be doing their own thing, fighting each other. It's like two kids that don't want to play to each other. Mommy, he did it. Daddy did it. Be friends. The self, you are the one that's supposed to align yourself so that you are all friends inside you. But if you don't grow up, even you are the fight they are fighting is confusing you. You're like, oh my God, what's going on? Thoughts is here. Body, you want to do this, you can't do this. You want this, you don't do this. So even the self is not mature. It's like, okay, when is this internal craziness going to stop? When you grow up, when you learn, when you develop skills. So desire, think of desire as what do you want to create? Remember yesterday I said, don't think of negativity. Oh, I can't create. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I don't have. That is beneath your being. God didn't create you to be saying, I can't, I won't. No, he has given you a force. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. You have to decide what do you want to manifest, what do you want to create. And so if you don't decide, it's part of the self has not matured. The self doesn't know. You actually have the power to manifest, to create. So you are doubting yourself. You are confusing yourself. You are limiting yourself. You are telling yourself a story that is beneath you, and you are creating a reality you don't like. The self that doesn't grow up, that doesn't mature, will always produce at its own maturity level. You don't grow up, you can go and read all the books, technical skills, but if you don't know how to manage what's going on inside you, your vibration, frequency, sensations, thinking process, the quality of it is dependent on the maturity level of the self. Well, the girl is back. She said, hi, Toya, and anyone from Las Vegas. Greetings. Listen, you need to watch the replay. If you are just coming in now, you've missed a bunch. You don't want to miss it. You want to watch the replay. Okay. You want to watch the replay. Okay. So I'm building up. So the self has to grow up. And the level of maturity of this is like learning how to cook food. The type of food you can cook is the type of food you will eat. The type of life you can manifest is the type of life you will live in. The type of life you can create for yourself is the one you would experience. That's why God will want to quantum leap you. Listen, Abraham, come. I need you to see as far as your eyes can see. I need you to believe more for yourself, because you've got to receive within your being what I have for you. So think of desire. What do you want to create? Don't put doubt on it, because when you start saying you cannot, then you cannot build faith. Desire. Oh, thanks, Wola girl. Yes, you told me yesterday to activate it. I did. I can see your. Oh, thank you for the drop. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. Oh my. Okay, so this is how you people on YouTube have been sharing money with each other. Okay, keep sharing. Thank. Oh my God, this is so funny. Oh yeah, you're watching me live and direct react to it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay, think of desire as what do you want to create? You are a creative being. We are here to create. We are here to manifest. But anytime you are doubting yourself, limiting, it works. Yes, it works. Thank you. Anytime you are doubting yourself, limiting yourself, belittling yourself, you're taking yourself down to a realm that is beneath your being. Thank you. I appreciate that. So don't do that. So make sure your energy is forward moving with clarity, not confusion. Don't apply the brakes on life. And I'm going to go deeply into the science now, the technical side of it, because science backs what I'm teaching. This is what we all need today. Okay? I said earlier, right? Potential energy, chemical energy, kinetic energy. These are states of your own energy. Okay? When I talk about emotions, what creates emotions? What are emotions? Toyin, what are emotions? Thank you. I'm glad you asked. How your metaphysical. Listen, this is the first thing you're going to create with your mind. When Bible tells you things that are seen are made out of things that are not seen. You know that scripture. Things that are seen are made out of things that are not seen. You see, your unseen energy, your unseen thoughts that you cannot touch, your information processing system, your energy processing system, that nobody, you can't go under any instrument and be touching, you can't touch your thoughts. You see, what happens is those thoughts and your energy will create a chemical. I'm taking this very, very slow. When we talk about emotions, is that your thinking, your nervous, God created a central nervous system that responds to what you're thinking, and in its response will release a chemical composition. We have names for all the different types of chemicals that people have studied. There is a substance that will be released, a chemical, a drug. You know all those hormones? Right? All those hormones that people talk about, you have systems in your physical body that when it receives information and energy from your metaphysical side, in response to your thoughts and the energy and permission released, your physical body will create specific chemicals that it will now send to specific organs of the body, preparing your body to take action. Chemical energy is packed in that chemical composition, and it is sent through your nerves. Go and read the science of it. It's sent through your nerves to power this body. It gives life to this body. It activates you. It wakes you up. But that chemical energy is encoded with the information and instruction of what that energy is going to do. You want to cook rice, you will think, I want to cook rice. It will release the power to cook rice plus the instruction to cook rice that you've stored in your being, and your body will just go and cook the rice and then serve you, and then you will eat, and no, it tastes good, it tastes good, and then that's it. So a potential energy, when it receives thinking, will vibrate and be translated to chemical energy through the central nervous system. And when the body receives that instruction and the chemical, it is activated to perform what it was told to perform. Okay? It will perform what it was told to perform. And that's why if you process negativity, it will apply the brakes, because there's no instruction in negativity. There's nothing you can do if you say, I can't do this, I don't do this. It will stop. You are stopping yourself. Negativity stops you from doing it because there's no there is no directional instruction in negative thinking. So that energy is released, but then it turns on you and then it's stuck in your body and it weighs people down. When you think negativity, there's no outlet, there's no release for negativity because there's no direction. If you think, I can't eat, energy will still, that stuff will still produce energy, but the instruction, there is a dead end. You are stuck. The body doesn't know the instruction of what it should do. By the way, your mind, remember in the Bible, Genesis, Bible study, come home. God says, don't eat the fruits, the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Yeah? Because your mind has designed, maybe the future, new life, new health, new heaven, new body that God will create, He will update. Like, listen, manufacturers can update, the car can update, right? But as designed before the fall, the design of the human mind, the way God programmed it, your mind does not know what is good for you or what is bad for you. I think man did, I think God was going to help us discern in our mind, but Adam and Eve jumped the gun because the fruit was there, right? The tree was there. I think God was going to do, I'm just thinking my own, please, guys. I'm just saying, your mind as it is designed right now is designed to just receive any type of instruction. It's like your mouth. Your mouth does not have the information of whether donut is good for you or banana is better. When you put donut, you just say, good, donut, sugar. It will enjoy it and send it down. It will just send it down. You drink alcohol, send it down. Your mouth just sends it down. It just sends it down. Good for you, not good for you. It doesn't question you. Your mind sends everything down your nervous system. Everything. Good for you, not good for you. It doesn't know. And so when you, the self that is supposed to be discerning, educated, aware, wise, you are still sleeping, right? On the job. You are the gatekeeper. Guard your heart. You didn't guard your heart. You opened it up. Energy is released. Anything can just come take your energy. Ooh, you are just exploding anytime. You are releasing your light force to pursue things that are not good for you. That's what you give account for. So as long as energy is released, you gave permission to your mind to think, good or not, the only way you are going to discern good or not is when it lands in your body and how you experience that chemical reaction, right? The physiological response you now have to that chemical reaction, that is what is labeled and mapped as different types of emotions. That's when we will now know good or not good, because the effect they are having on your physiology can be damaging or creative and positive. That's when we now measure. But the mind is just an opening, a station to think, to create, to manifest. Whatever you put on that working station, good or not good, you say you cannot, you say you are the one. This is the self that is saying it cannot. It's not your mind. You are permitting those thoughts to run through your mind, and as it is running, it will just say input, process, output. You input negative thoughts, it processes it for you and releases it into your body. When it gets into your body, soon enough, the chemical energy with the instruction of I cannot, I don't have, I cannot do this, God, they are this, the negative thoughts. Now the chemicals that is released becomes toxic. And now it's in your body, sitting in your bloodstream. What are you going to do with that? That's why God will be saying, forgive, let go. When I say process your emotion, I always say, and the things I teach and the way I teach, trust me, I teach it. I teach, there are some things I teach to my own kids that they get. When I teach, that's why when I'm teaching this way, I want to make it simple because I also teach my kids. I have conversation. I even have a class. If you don't know, I have a class of parents of children ages 7 to 13. Because most of these things develop, most of the things adults are going through today developed at that age range. And so if you're an adult and you are hearing me and listening to me, you want to take the parents class so you don't repeat, you don't douse your children with your same dysregulation and now they have to deal with it again. We can teach this. It's like brush your teeth. This. So the class actually is in the Quantum Leap Your Life membership on YouTube for parents. So if you're a parent, you want to train, because that class does two things. It trains the parents and then the parents can train the child. So it's 2 for 1. Both the parents and the child will learn. Okay. So now your emotions, okay? The physiological response to the chemical release, the chemical energy released in your body. Guys, are you following me? Oh gosh, I hope. Can somebody please let me know if this makes sense? Please type, let me know. Is this making sense? Or do I need to slow down? Or do I need to repeat myself? Or do you have any questions? Because I know I'm packing a whole lot. Guys, I'll try and explain it in simple ways, because when let me teach you, let me share something I told my kids. And the smallest of children can understand this. And I'm going to use some words, just bear with me. It's very crude, but a child can understand. I teach it in such a way that a child can understand. So I say, just like when you eat food, not everything you eat is good for you, but you know your digestive system as an outlet. When the food goes in and it does its thing, it takes the energy, the good nutrients from the food, and anything, okay? Marielle said this is better than counseling. I know. Thank you for calling that out. So, when you eat food, it has an outlet. You have an outlet for food because God knows you need an outlet. Not everything you're eating is good for you. So it has a digestive system. It takes what's good, and then what is not useful every day, you take it out. So my daughter, one of the things I taught her, Toyin, where are you located? Chicago. Chicago. Okay, thank you. So I told my daughter, this is what we're supposed to learn. When your mind takes all this stuff, when it processes, not everything you're thinking about will produce chemical composition that is good for your life. Part of the skills I'm teaching in my classes is how to poop out negative thoughts, how to eject it from your life as a byproduct of wrong thinking. If you don't catch it at the beginning, at least like you ate donuts, right? You ate too much sugar. You didn't catch it. You put it in your mouth. You didn't catch it. You ingested wrong thoughts. Okay, you didn't catch it at the beginning. Please catch it at the end. You see, catch it at the end and delete it. Have the skills, develop the skills of ejecting pooping. That's what I told my daughter. So whenever she comes and says, this person did this person did that, I'm like, sis, it's time to poop. It works. I'm like, listen, There's nothing, as long as you are ruminating who did what to you, who did what, they did this, da 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 da. You are just creating a negative state of being. It will not make you happy. It will not make you well. You just be dysregulated. You'll be upset. You'll be angry. You'll be demonstrating dysregulation that is not in your favor. And you're about to store that thing as your permanent being. It's not good for you. Let's find a way of ejecting this thing quickly. My daughter gets it. My daughter understands this thing, that when people come for you, do this, do this, do this, your job is not to hang on to the residual negativity. Your assignment is to get it out of your system. To get it out of, don't hold on to garbage, rubbish that will decompose and mess you up. So my daughter gets it. So now when she say, oh, this person did this, okay, let's suit you up. It's okay. Hugs and kissing, mwah, mwah, mwah. You know, rub shoulder, kiss mommy, hug mommy. Okay, now, are you ready to get it rid of it? Poop. Drop it. Let it go. Don't form an identity of anger, of this, of that. It takes time. This thing I'm teaching you, it's a lot of work. But my daughter gets it. In fact, I thought another thing she demonstrated was yesterday, 2 days ago, on emotions and feeling. And I'll share some of it with you because it changes everything. If my daughter can get it, surely anybody can get this. Lola says that makes sense to catch and release. Yes, because the best place, trust me, the best place is to catch it at the beginning. Yourself, being very discerning. Bible says, renew your mind. Because once you start thinking it, you are creating, you are staging it, you are creating it, you are giving it energy, and anything you're thinking, you are creating, you're producing. And when that production is done, it's sending that instruction straight into your body. So the best place is to discipline yourself in terms of what you're staging in your mind, what you're permitting in your mind. Don't be tolerating nonsensical thoughts, crazy thoughts. But many people, the skill you need there, if you don't have it there, there's another skill of particularly when you wake up in the morning. Okay, there's so much to teach and share. That's why I take notes. I put notes and I number my notes, because as I'm teaching many things, because I have 300 classes in my school, that I can be bringing all kinds of things, but I put notes together to say, this is the only thing I want to teach today. So that's why I'm like, I want to stay on point. But there are many things that I would like to teach. So I'm trying to say which one. I don't want to abandon my notes. So I'll still try and stay on my note, but there are many things coming up. Better than counseling. Thank you. Marielle says, I think this is one of the applications of when the Bible says, catch the little foxes that spoils the vine. Let me put that up there. Yes. Because Marielle, you brought a great point on. You see, what actually happens is that when I say the best place to catch it is during thinking, but also you develop the skills to catch the after effect, is that literally thinking puts marking in your brain, your physical brain. Let me. This is why I'm saying that there's a lot of things I can teach if you can handle it. Is that the process of thinking is you giving permission for the mind to inscribe the instruction on your brain, your physical. This is when the non-physical world comes into the physical world. The gateway that non-physical enters into the physical realm is what I'm telling you right now, teaching you right now. Is that thinking process, the mind has permission. It's like writing on a hard drive of a computer. Like, don't type nonsense into your computer. But if you make a mistake and you type nonsense, now you have to go to the back door and go and delete it and recycle it. You see what I'm saying? So that it doesn't stay in your computer. The real skill is don't type nonsense. Don't allow viruses into your computer. But now 20 years, 30 years has passed. There's virus there. Let's find antivirus to delete. Let's search for what you have permitted while you were sleeping, while men slept. the enemy sowed all kinds of stuff. Yeah? Where are you going to find that stuff? Delete it, recycle it, and then close up. That's what I'm saying. But the real discipline of the self is don't be allowing people to type things, because the physical implication is that your brain will receive the inscription, that it will then, the mind-body connection, that the mind is not physical, the brain is physical. Software is not physical, but hardware is physical. The day you are given permission to think, it is assumed you are ready to do, and in order to do, it has to come into the physical realm, and the gateway it enters into the physical realm is that it will be inscribed on your physical brain, and your physical brain will send it through your nervous system, because the brain and nervous system, they are physical organs of your body. And then the nervous system, you can see it. It will now release the chemical, and it will go into your body and create physical realities. Now I'm saying you need skill to guard the gate. You need skill to delete after the ones you miss. There are several other skills that I'm going to go into now. Are we following? So please keep typing, because I'm like, this is real stuff. Those who want to unpack the Bible and realize the Bible is real. It's real. You have to decide. You cannot be, don't over spiritualize it. Let's bring it home. This is how God designed us. Okay? Says meditation is like weeding the soil and planting new fruits. Yes, but give me a moment to share some more, and then maybe you would retype what that will unlock for you. Okay? So emotions. Awesome. Yes. Emotions is how you will now physically react to the chemicals that has released into your body. Emotion, energy in motion, as the chemical, the heat runs through your body that you created with your thinking. You now have to bear the consequences. If it is good, you'll be happy, you'll be fulfilled, you'll be joyful, you'll be moving forward in life. Good. If those thoughts have loaded weapon, it will be weaponized against the bearer. That's what the enemy does. All he has to do is throw you wrong thoughts. Your body will do the rest. Once it goes through the mind, listen, it is the serious assault and attack on the well-being of humans. This is what takes humans down. This is the death that the Bible talks about. Is that once it passes that mind, the body, the bearer, will receive a chemical composition that degenerates just wrong. And guys, listen, you flare up, it will hit. Why do you burn when you are angry? You know why? It's a chemical reaction. You are just it's like somebody manufactured chemical in the lab and then tell you to ingest it, and it now has to go through. It's corrosive. But there are other chemicals. You jog, you exercise, you think good about life, you're thankful, you're praising God, you feel hopeful, you're happy. Listen, you'll be dousing your physical being with wellness. The joy of the Lord is your strength. You will gain strength, power. You'll be well. Life and death is in the tongue, right? Because words too agitate, it does the same thing. You say the wrong thing, or somebody says the wrong thing at you, they create matter. That's emotion. So if you want to control your emotion is what is happening right now. The thoughts you are processing right now, the chemical compositions that is running through you right now, that you're experiencing right now, and your physical being is reacting. Because trust me, reaction is serious. You know why? If the chemical, when it is running through you, that's why you talk about breath work. What is breath work going to do? It is the cooling system of the entire being. When you breathe, you have to cool down all those chemicals. They eat you up. Their energy is like fire, right? It runs so much that you want to run, and the key is you also want to transfer that energy. Because chemical energy prepares you for kinetic. It wants to release itself. You want to run, you want to do, you want to punch, you want to say, you want to speak, you want to do something because the instruction has been permitted. The approval came from headquarters, thinking headquarters, right? Slap this person. The energy to slap you receive. Now you must slap. Okay. Okay. Let me cool it down. Let me even cool down myself too. Everybody, grab your water. Cool yourself down. I know if I'm warmed up, you too, you're warmed up. Let's cool down. Okay, good. Are you with me? Let's calm down. Because I'm excited. The energy running through me is excitement because there's so much to teach, there's so much to cover. I'm like, oh, which one do I? That's why I keep my notes to be on point. So I still have my notes. I'm still on number 3. That's why I have to train myself so I'm not all over the place. So let me calm down. Okay, good. Okay, I'm calm. I'm excited and calm. How do you do both? Okay, so emotions. Emotions is the deal between the mind and the heart and the body. Yeah, in the moment. Let's move on to feelings. Everybody in the world think feelings and emotions are the same. They're not. And you're not going to hear this anywhere else. Even the PhD people don't know what I'm teaching you today. They don't. This is divine revelation. God gives us, we Christians, the best of the best of the best of the best. Emotions are not feelings. Emotions are not feelings, and the skills you need to handle emotions and feelings are different. Very, 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 very different. When I teach mastering your emotions and feelings, you see the difference in the classes. But I'll share with you this. You see, while emotion is the deal between the mind and the body, feelings has to do with encoding in your heart, memory, what you stored after certain things have happened to you, the stories you scripted about what happened to you, what you now embody about life, yourself, and other people. You store it in a different side of you. It was submitted. So let's say you're in a relationship with somebody that makes you hungry. I want to be very practical. Every time you engage with that person, what they say, how they treat you, okay, makes you hungry every time. You don't like your response, your when you are in their presence. I want to be very. It could be a boss. It could be. I'm just trying to make this practical. Let's just say somebody, because it could be positive. It could be negative. You could be experiencing somebody that is your best friend. Every time you call her, you're, hey girl, how are you? Oh, they leave you on a high. Your experience with that person is high. Okay? And say you've met the person 10 times. Consistently, they give you high vibes. Okay, good. The next time you see the person, your feelings towards that person will draw you towards that person if they continue to feed you high vibes. Your feelings towards person will be negative if that person has been dealing you, right, dousing you with negative vibes. Feelings, even though nothing has happened, feelings encode in your memory all of the experiences you've had plus your conclusions about that, right? That experience, those experiences, you encode that story. Anytime your mind reads that story, it will remanufacture the emotion tied to that story. Can I share? Like, I want to break it down a little bit. If we're in the same room, I will take pen and I'll be drawing. Feelings come. It's your disposition, but it has a lot of history baked in. You experience someone a certain way 10 times over and over and over and over and over and over again. Very soon, you are smart enough. Your mind, this is the training of the mind. The mind will soon say, this person is like this. My feelings towards this person is that this person is this. And so I am deciding that this is how I'm going to react and respond whenever I see this person's name. And this is done, by the way, consciously and subconsciously. Whether you know it consciously or not, I'm telling you how things are encoded in your being. This is the wiring of your system, right? Is that when that thing has happened and left, you drop the phone. Oh, we're like, that call was not right. Your conclusions about what you just experienced, you save it in a different compartment in your being, close to your energy, close to your heart. This is your belief system, the story you tell about what happened to you, what's happening to you, and what will happen to you. Because that story is so important. That compartment is so important. That is the information your mind will scan on what to do about that person the next time you see them. And the next time you see that person, because there's a word association, your mind associate for everything you're in relationship with, everything plus money. This shows up in the world of business. Everything you're in relationship with, things, anything you buy, anything you touch, yourself, your marriage, anybody that is attached to your existence, everybody has a file inside you. I have a file inside you. If we've talked, anybody that has engaged with me that I recognize their name, I know them, I've experienced them, and based on our interaction, we have memory of each other. And if that memory is pleasant, it means we are now in relational exchange, energetic exchange. The human being, the being, recognizes the things we're in relationship with, the people we're in relationship with. But I'm saying the story of that relationship, the bond of that relationship is stored inside you, and your mind scans it, reads it, and it takes action, specific action based on that story. And that feeling triggers that action, and it can recreate an emotion. The next time I see you, if you're my friend, I'll be happy. Vibration, my energy will vibrate again. We're about to create good vibes. The next time I see you, you pissed me off the last time. I'm like off. Because I remember. We remember. How do you remember? The information was stored. And soon enough, by the way, let me connect this to trauma. Guys, that's why I said I wanted to take notes, but with this, with what we are doing right now. Hey, Sheila, listen, you people, thank you. Sheila, thank you. Thank you. I just saw what you dropped. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. So please comment, like, if what I'm sharing, I really, because I want to share what's helpful, what's useful, what's transformational, period. And every time God is teaching me things, I'm like screaming, this changes the game. Quantum leap. Listen, unstoppable. Become unstoppable. Don't stop yourself though. Right? So encoded in you, not in your mind, now in your heart. Guard your heart. And I will tell you another secret, because you guys are encouraging me to keep going. I'll tell you something else, that your heart opens and closes based on feelings, your feelings. There are some people you close your heart to. There are some people you open your heart to. Why? Why? There are some people you hug. Oh, long lost friend, I love you. You exchange love, emotions, right? Because every time you interact with that person, the chemical composition, this is why we fall in love, by the way. How your body, the chemicals that runs through you, that washes over you, gives you well-being. And the person, whoever creates that kind of experience inside you, listen, you are attached to them. This is attachment. I'm using phrases now so that you understand how to connect these phrases. When you say attachment, attachment. You can also attach yourself negatively to people. Trauma. Energetic attachments, negatively influenced. It's not just what happened, when it happened, is that when you store it near your energy, every time you think about it, it will happen again. What will happen again is not external now, it's now internal recreation of the scenario and the chemicals, right? So it's like that story of what you stored. When your mind picks it up again and scans it and remembers Remembering a traumatic experience will remanufacture the chemical composition and will recreate the experience in your frame and body. It will recreate it again. So healing, if you want to heal, because you are carrying around the feeling as long as you're carrying around the story. But that feeling can immediately be translated to emotions the moment the mind reads that story. When you remember, when you open the file about that situation, your mind scans that story, it will manufacture emotions. So feelings can create emotions again. But feelings is the embodiment of the truth of what happened to you, and you are carrying it around. And the danger is you can re-traumatize yourself anytime you open that file. So something that happened 20 years ago, your mind can scan it. Remember I said get into a comfortable state, because I know as I'm speaking this thing, memory can open again. You know what I'm talking about, and you know the people, and you know when, you know the dates, you know the time, and the story is stored in you. Please let me tell you, if you want to be healed, if you want to be whole, the one thing you must do right now is to write a different story. You know, sometimes people want to go to them and say they should say sorry. You are trying to get them to rewrite a story so that you can forgive them. I'm saying you don't need them. You can manufacture a story by yourself. That's the power you have. He says, I'm listening. That's the power you have. Until you do this work, they have the power, you don't. Let's sit with that. Let's just take a pause, because my notes are here and I'm going all over, but I will still come back to these notes. I'm committed to my notes. But I'm also, sometimes you know that's something you need to share some things. So let's just take few seconds to just sit with that. Yes, write a different story. I'm putting up write a different story. And there are different ways you can write different stories. Let me give you one secret. The story that most people encode was written by a younger, less mature version of you. And you are living with the story you wrote when you were 15, when you were 5, when you were 20, when you were 22. I have a question for you. This is a tough one. Please don't be driving when you are listening to me. Don't be holding a knife or do anything dangerous. Please, I have this question because it will activate you. If it happened to you now, how would you respond today versus when it happened previously? Do you have superior intelligence and have you matured in a way that the script you will write today will be different from the script you wrote when you were 15? Okay? Write a script that favors you. Saying I forgive is a script that favors you. Because this is not even about them. Healing is not about them. Healing is about your own well-being. You see, healing is about your own well-being. And this is so important for manifestation and success, because there are certain feelings that will continue to drown you and keep you away from the future God has for you. Because they weigh you down, they weigh your being down, because anything coming to you, your mind has been trained to be rejecting certain things. Like, so for example, let's say you conclude all people are this. Because one person did something, rightly so. You didn't wash it away from your system. You didn't poop it out. You didn't poop the effect of their toxicity. You didn't let it go. You are wearing the suit. You are holding on to it, right? That stuff they were coming to dump on you. You instead of trashing it, they brought you a bad gift. You didn't put it in the trash. You are carrying it around. You see, that carrying around of your feelings energizes you, and your mind doesn't know the difference. It's going to act it out over and over again. It will use your memory to create your future. Oh my gosh, roller girl. Ooh. Oh, this is deep stuff, guys. Hmm. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, I think this is why this was important that we covered this. Ronald Girl says, I'll be 60 next June, and I feel like I'm not an adult yet in my mind. Low. So it's not your mind, art. It's that hurt and pain, right? It weighs people down. Your mind, the mind is a beautiful thing. Guys, when people say mindset, mindset, I'm like, no, leave the mind is beautiful. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Drop to you see the mind body connection. Your heart is not this head up. Leave it alone. Don't just leave it alone. It works beautifully. You see, neck down, that's where the work is. Guys, please hear me. The neck down. This is what, when we talk about disassociation, is that oftentimes people are not well in their own frame, neck down. Because all the emotions and feelings you embody, it is neck down. The work is neck down. The pain is neck down. The struggle is neck down. And many people are living only out of their head because that's where safety is. When you drop into your body, they can't feel themselves again. You don't know who you are. You are not feeling well in your body. Guys, let's calm down. This one up, super, it's doing what God wants it to do. But the mismanagement of neck up dysregulates neck down. Okay? And so your heart and your body. When I say your heart, I don't even mean the physical heart. I mean the spiritual heart that is tied to your soul, the well-being of your soul. I wish above all things that ye prosper as your soul prospers. I wish above all things that ye prosper as your soul prosper. When we start saying soul wound and this and that, that is what we are talking about. It's not the physical act. I'm talking about the energetic seat of the soul. Everything the soul will receive and how you are going to feeling is part of, is closer to your soul. And this is where, this is the version, this is where Jesus died for. He said, you go and renew your mind. You deal with your mind. But what God is dealing with is your heart. Stony heart, unforgiving heart. You realize that scripture talks more about your heart. Because once you fix your heart, David said, my heart, right? Your word have I hidden in my heart that I may not sin against you. Sin comes out of the mind and the body. But if you guard your heart, you fill it with the word of God, you cut the, you eliminate what the mind, because the mind only takes permission from your heart. Energy flows from the heart. If you stop giving the mind energy, the mind, that's how you control the mind. You see, the way you control your mind is your heart must mature. You must lock the door. You must be in charge. A city without walls is not protected. And the mind cannot do anything unless you give it permission. That's why peace of mind, rest, is a heart function. Once you are at peace in yourself, you have agency, autonomy. Listen, the mind cannot do you nothing because it doesn't have the energy it needs to be throwing tantrum. You are not releasing it to it. You will be talking to your mind, calm down. The mind will say, let's do this. You say, no, not today. That's not my priority. You know, when you start having to do for your day, this is what we are doing. You are training your mind to perform in a certain order based on your instruction. That's discipline. If you don't train your mind will get busy doing anything. When you start saying today is day this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do, your mind has to follow and obey you. This is the allocation of resources, time, energy, and resources to the mind. This is the permission you are giving to your mind on what you want it to create and manufacture for your day. The day you don't do that, and I ask you, what do you want? Say anything. Your mind will give you anything. It will give you anything because you are not it's not discipline. There's no discipline. So the mind is to be disciplined and to be under the control of yourself. But if the self doesn't have power over the energy, the mind can be stealing energy and just tricking you and taking you everywhere. So leave the mind alone. It's the heart that the assignment is for. Okay? We good? There's a lot. That's why the 7 classes on the quantum leap human design, they are all designed for the heart. You can go and read any book, it will load it in your mind. But if you read the wrong book, it wants to end up in the heart. Let me tell you one thing now before I move on. Very, very important. What I'm about to put out there into the world. Extremely, extremely, extremely important. When certain thoughts goes through your mind, eventually it wants it to go into your heart, to be part of your being, to be part of your soul. The gateway, when they say the gateway of the mind, is that when that negative emotion passes through your mind, creates negative emotion, physiological response to the chemical reaction in your body. When your body's sensation starts experiencing dysregulated emotion, guess where it is submitting it? It's submitting it to your heart. When you don't like the sensation in your body, the heart will not be happy. When you like what's happening in your body, the heart will be happy. The body submits everything it received from the mind, it submits it to the heart. Here's where it's the kicker. When you now believe those emotions above the word of God, you will now store it as part of life and reality inside the database of the heart. When you store it in your heart, it becomes part of you, it becomes permanent. Your mind will now be repeating that behavior over and over because to scan your heart, give it to the body submits it to the heart. If your heart receives it, it stores it in your filing system. The next time the mind keeps repeating. This is the loop. This is the loop. When you now start talking about breakthrough deliverance, is breaking the cycle. But the best place you can break it is in your heart. Deleting that line item, that belief system, forgiveness, all of the things Jesus talks about, the fruits of the Spirit, is tackling the heart. Forgive, be happy, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. This is the prescription to heal your heart, because an unhealed heart was created, okay, over time, through trauma. Your body received bad emotion, you submitted it. This person is not nice. The mind says, they are not nice. Create again, they are not nice. The heart says they are not nice. Mind says, I agree with you, they are not nice. Soon enough, you have 10 submissions of nice on people are not nice. What then happens is that encoded as part of your being is now a strong belief system that people are not nice. Soon enough, you are carrying all of that memory around. And the worst part of it is that you energetically be attracting the stories you believe. That's how, if you can deal with these things, you rescue yourself. Because all the enemy is trying to get you to do is to believe negative about life, about yourself, about the world. What God is trying to get you to do is to believe God, to believe his plans for you. Because whoever wins your heart wins your life. Whoever is in you, whatever stories is encoded inside you. That's why I have a class in my school of rewriting your script, your stories. In fact, we're designing the life you love is the title of that class. Design the life you love. Script, write a new script. Like, go into your heart. Yes, those things happen. But if you don't want it to repeat itself, the only thing you can do is to rewrite the story. Because as long as you are carrying around stories of defeat, stories of this, stories of that, it just, your mind copies them. Because the mind is going to read your heart as, this is what you want to create. These are your desires. I'm just telling you the design. You may think otherwise, but anything you're holding in your heart, the mind considers it as the desires you have for your future. It sees it as what you want it to create. Remember, I said desire what you want to create. Where do you hold your desire? In your heart. But if the desire has been corrupted and you've attached your energy to things that has happened in the past you didn't desire, remember negativity. Your mind doesn't understand negativity. You think it is negativity. English language says it is negativity, but vibration is vibration. Thinking is an interpretation of vibrations and sensations. Is the best attempt of your mind to use words to describe what's going on in your soul. The language of the soul is vibration. The language of the body is sensation. They don't speak English language. It is your mind that went to school to learn ABCD, A for apple, B for ball. Why? So that it can learn how to associate vibrations with thoughts, sensations with thoughts. So that when it thinks and consciousness activates in your being, you will be able to understand what it is creating with your energy. But ultimately, the encoding of your soul is not English language. That's why intuition, you can know certain things, feel certain things in your heart. Your mind has no idea. It hasn't interpreted. Eyes have not seen, nor ears heard what God has planned. Neither are certain things entered the mind of man, what God has planned. But your spirit and your soul that is connected to God can know certain things your mind has no idea. That's why I say your mind knows your past, your heart knows your future. Your heart knows the future God has for you. It's your job to bring your mind along. But if your mind is still scanning your whole self, that's why I'm saying fix those memories so that when the mind is scanning, it is scanning the future you desire, not the ones you don't desire that has come and gone. Don't hold on to thoughts of defeat, of things you don't want to see in your future. Delete everything you don't want to see in your future because your mind believes you want it. That's why you're holding on to it. You're energetically holding on to stories of defeat when you're supposed to let it go and sit with yourself and plant the plans of God. Root it in your heart and see if your mind will not manifest your future for you. That's your quantum leap. Your mind will give to you whatever you've stored in your heart. It will keep repeating it, repeating it, repeating. But if you've stored chaos, arguments, anger, the vibration within you, your mind will just be interpreting it. And as your mind is interpreting it, your body is responding emotionally. So it creates itself. It's a loop. Okay, now let me go back to my notes. I've over-delivered. Guys, break the cycle in the heart, fruits of the spirit. Yes, that's why the energy you carry, you need to encode it with wellness. You see, if you guard your heart. Remember the Bible that says, peace that surpasses all understanding will guard your heart. But if you guard your heart with stories of this, your mind will just be giving it to you because it produces in the physical realm what is sitting in your heart because it believes that's your desire. That's what you want to create. And so if you don't want to create certain things, don't keep it close to your energy. Don't vibrate it at all. And so part of what also has to happen, let me also share this advanced stuff. Your mind has already been trained to think a certain way, to automatically react a certain way. Part of this is you have to slow down. If you want to correct this thing, it doesn't just change immediately. You have to give it time. You have to be monitoring the thoughts inside you, and you need to be reprogramming yourself. And part of how you do it is when you listen to the mind going forward. This is why this session is important. And the things I teach as well in the other classes, right, is that now you pay attention to your mind because now you're a changed person. If you've listened to me, you've changed. Believe it, you've healed. But so that your mind doesn't repeat the past because your nervous system has been trained to continue to react the way you've been reacting before you watch this. Give it the next couple of days. What you're going to do now. Remember, the doctor will say, put a bandage. I'm giving you now what you need to do after you finish this session. You have been healed. You have been delivered because you now know. But your mind has been trained to be repeating that past. What you are now going to do is when the old thoughts show up in your mind, catch it and replace it. If you say, oh, this person did this to you, well, I've forgiven them. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Your mind will quiet. In a few days' time or some hours, it will bubble it again. But you said I should do it because it's still holding on to the residual. You need to clean the pipe. You need to clean the pipe. The pipe is still, it's like if you water the garden hose. Just because you shut off the valve, there's still water in the pipe. We need to drain the old stuff. So if you few hours, it comes into your memory again. Do this, do this. You say, calm down, calm down, calm down. No, I'm not giving you permission to act as the old actor. This is the new person we are now. You calm it down. You do that 5, 6, 7 times, your mind will respect you, because your mind only listens to the authority voice in you. That's why the self, remember the self has to mature, develop new skills, and retrain the mind. It's a lot of work, right? So that's why you need to take those 7 classes. I just gave you some tips. Now there are other things going on, but for time, I'm going back to my notes. Your mind will give to you what you have stored in your heart. Yes, but I want to be scientifically accurate so that you understand at the quantum leap layer, your heart is vibrating to the tune of your desires. Your desires are interpreted based on the stories you've put there. Your mind will make the best attempt to convert your vibrations to stories and scripts that it is about to send to your body to perform. Your body is an actor in all of these things. It will act it out once it once it receives the story, the energy, the chemical composition. Your body will do what it was told to do. But the key is, just as I said, emotion is between mind and body. Feelings is between heart and mind. Okay? Is that you embody the stories that makes you feel a certain way about life. And from a manifestation standpoint, your feelings is your energetic vibration that will attract or repel certain realities for your life, because your external will attempt to mirror your internal. This is quite complex, but I'm just dropping it down so that you understand. So the vibration of your heart is vibrating to the tune of your desires. Your desires are encoded as the stories you've received and you believe. When your mind scans it, it attempts to interpret those vibrations as best as it can, as best as it can, based on your history and your past permission. And then it uses English language stories to write a script asking you consciously, is this what you want to eat? It will start using thinking to say, and then thinking is conscious. Vibration is unconscious. Thinking is conscious. And so that thinking process is saying you're about to consciously produce a reality in the physical realm. Think again. And if you allow it to pass through, it will land in your body. Your body will receive it. That's why renewing your mind is deciding who you want to be. Do you want to be an angry person? Do you want to be paying people back eye for eye? Or do you want to be a kind, generous, loving, forgiving person? This is the core of your identity, because in your heart, the day you decide, I'm a kind person, I'm a generous person, your mind must come along. Your mind must not be writing scripts of unkindness if you say you are kind. If you say you are a loving person, your mind, if it is acting in opposition to your being, it's your job to bring your mind along. Your mind will often say, this is the flesh, by the way, oh, let's slap them, let's just do this. Your mind can be selfishness, all this stuff. Your mind can tell you horror stories. Let's do this. Let's show them who you are. Hey, this, all of those nonsense that we, humans do. Hey, I will show them. All the fights. Ego. What do you call it? I want this, that, pride, arrogance. All this stuff is the story of the mind, of what it wants to present to the world, how it wants to show up in the world, what it wants to do and produce in the world. But the impact, you have to check in again. Is this what God is asking you to do? That's God, why Holy Spirit to calm you down. So when Holy Spirit calms your heart down, your job is to calm your mind down. Because your mind likes drama. It has watched movies Housewives of Atlanta. It knows how to slap. It knows how to do all kinds of things other people do. You see, your mind likes drama. It likes drama. That's why it can drag you into stuff. And then after that stuff comes and go, you'll be like, why was I involved in that conversation? Okay, guys. Let me wrap this. Go through wrap this. Okay, so number 3, what do you do with your energy? Input, process, output, based on the information you are receiving, process, and giving to the world. Accountability, training. Okay, I've talked about this. Number 4, what creates your emotions, feelings, and I didn't talk about attitude. Okay, I'll talk about that before I go. That's why I have notes, by the way. I want to stay on point. Okay, so let me talk about attitude. So emotions, we talked about emotions. Okay, feelings, I told you, feelings, the skills you need for emotions, to manage your emotions, is different from the skills you need to manage your feelings. Feelings is about script writing, your belief system, your desires, what you are holding on to, the past you're holding on to that your mind recreates. You have to tell a new story. Okay, now attitude. When I say quantum leap your attitude, because these are all energetic stuff. This is what you do with your energy. 2 people can do the same thing, can behave in the same way, but the energetic disposition, the energy behind their action, one can be negative, one can be positive. This is what God always looks at. Remember, Cain and Abel both made sacrifices. You see, 2 people can go into the church and drop money in the, right, make an offering, make a sacrifice or offering. Okay, but how the energy charge, the reason behind their action, their intention, their energetic disposition is what God is measuring. It's not their action. Men may see action and say, oh, good person, and be giving you A. But God is interested in your attitude towards that action. Even parents of kids, you send your kids, do this, do this. One of them did it willingly, another was like, they both did it, but which one are you measuring? Okay, God will say, be a cheerful giver. 2 people can be giving. You're generous, but the energy behind your action, you're given grudgingly, God will measure that. Right? The person who give cheerfully, willingly, with all their heart, God will see that. One is acceptable, one is not. Let me give you another example. You see 2 people running. They are running forward. One is running away from a bear. Another is running towards something to catch their plane. They are both running. One is running out of fear. Okay? Another is running out of faith. Okay? Is that the emotion, okay, the quality of the emotion that is powering your action determines the consequences and the results. 2 people can be doing exact same thing, but their reward will not be the same, because God is rewarding your attitude, not just your behavior. Should I run that again, or did you get it? Yeah? So when man is clapping for you, one can be doing something out of obedience, another can be doing that out of disobedience. When all is said and done, God knows how to reward. Attitude matters, because the energy that is powering your action. You see, the belief system behind your action, what you think you will get based on what you're doing, if it is sanctioned by God or not, will determine how God measures and rewards you. So many people say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that in the office, but you are showing up only because your boss is monitoring you. You are not doing it unto God. You see, Bible says, do everything like you are doing it unto God. But some of you, Christians included, you only show up when somebody will give you, you showed up. You want the public accolade. But privately, you are insulting your boss. You are demeaning them. You are like, oh, they don't mind them. Oh, yeah. Attitude. God will measure all of those things. Yes, you can be showing up to the job. Yes, you can be doing your, but the reward, you'll be rewarded based on the energetic charge that is influencing your action. So it's part of your vibration and it is tied to your reward and your impact. So the day you want God to be rewarding you, check your attitude towards life. Why you are doing what you're doing is important, not just what you are doing. You see, Saul may be doing this in the Bible. He's trying to make sacrifices when the prophet didn't come or early. Men may see that and say, oh, that is okay. It's okay, he's the king. But God saw that and said, that behavior is unacceptable because what is behind, you see, the energy, the intention that is powering what this guy is doing is unacceptable. That's why you have to be careful not to be doing things out of fear. Okay, let me see your question. You said fear and what? Fear and reward. Can you, I didn't get that. Try and ask that question fully. That way I can remember what it is I said before. But let me try and, okay. Fear can make people behave a certain way. Faith can make people behave a certain way. The reward of those two behavior is different. Right? So there are certain, when we say somebody is kind, so there are certain emotions that you transfer to other people because that attitude, so emotion is what you do to your body, what your mind creates and gives to you. Huh? Your feeling is what your heart gives to your mind. You see, attitude is what comes out of you into the world. The energy charge that you release on other people. You know, somebody's speaking, you're like, wah, 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 wah. Attitude. Somebody comes at you, speaks to you in a demeaning way, in a disrespectful way. Attitude. That's their own energetic transfer. Attitude is when you start transferring what you are carrying. Now is exiting you. It started in your heart, went to your mind, went to your body. When your body is now taking that action, it is carrying the gift of your energy and you transfer it into another man and a woman. In your relationship, your attitude is what comes out of you and the effects the other person will receive. And the reward will come back to you because the tendency is what you give them, they will give back to you. They will multiply. Good measure, pressed down, coming back. So attitude is tied to the reward because your energy field that is running through you, your thoughts running through you, okay? The belief system powered inside you as you are producing thoughts, emotions, feelings inside you is seeping out of you, is leaking. Because the day you now speak, the day you now do certain things out of that charge, listen, you just, what you are carrying is what you will give the world. So if you want to give the world kindness, goodness, good things, start inside. Start within yourself. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot present a personality you've not cultivated inside of you. If you've not done the inner work to think beautiful thoughts, to be loving, kind, generous, giving, forgiving, your body cannot act it out. When you speak, when you show up, your attitude, your behavior in the physical realm will mirror and match everything you're carrying that you're hiding inside your heart and your mind. And this will determine whether you will be promoted, whether people want to hang around you, whether you can influence people, whether they like you, whether they will help you. This is where, when God says favor with God and with man, this is where it lands. This is where it lands. And you greatly influence that, right? So the skill to manage attitude now is another skill. So let's say you didn't catch it in your mind, you didn't catch it in your heart, your body just, and this is true, right? When I say brush your teeth, this is why I teach this, because we are humans as long as we are here. If I give you my examples, you need to, I throw tantrum. I know how to throw tantrum. I know how to do. The reason, listen, you don't know the prayer I've prayed that release this kind of this kind of world changing solutions to human problems. You don't know the why God said, "Don't you take, don't you take." I can throw tantrums, oh. I know how to throw tantrums. What I also now know is when after I finish throwing tantrums, let me go and clean up. Learn how to say sorry. Learn how to apologize. Learn how to clean up the mess you release. Oh, guys, let me calm myself. Oh, oh my gosh. Oh, let me cool myself down. You guys have made me. Oh my gosh. Woo! Mm. I'm laughing. Better be laughing too. Oh my gosh. The more tantrum you know how to throw, you didn't catch it in your mind, you didn't catch it in your heart. You did, right? Now you need to train your body. Is that when you now are in error, okay? Let's say the truth. You are in error. You said what you didn't mean to say, how you didn't mean to say it. Yeah, you threw an attitude on other people. Learn how to apologize quickly, clean up. Because when you throw attitude and the person is like, what did you mean? Da 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 da. Some people will still say, hey, you had it coming. Hey, it's you. No, 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 no. Peace. Follow peace with all men. And sometimes peace may be leave people alone. Because if somebody keeps agitating you, do you want to hear the truth? Or you guys want fake? No, I'm not. Let's say the truth, practical. Let's say you've not matured the self. For generation, this person keeps coming at you and you don't have the skills to manage their drama. And every time you interact with this person, you get frustrated, you get angry, you lash out, you lash out. At some point, wisdom must tell you, avoid this person. Boundaries. I teach classes, there's some classes in my school on boundaries. Yeah? If rats will be ratting, squirrel will be squirreling, close your door. Learn how to close your door and window. He says you're a delight. I'm glad. I didn't laugh. We will laugh about this real stuff. Because how else do you handle this stuff? It's too real. It's so real. We are living. This is the reality we are all living. So let's just laugh, own our stuff. It's not a big deal unless you make it a big deal. Chill out, gentle with yourself, gentle with other people. Calm down. Let's go make some money. You see? Business deal is here. Let's make money. Let's build businesses. Let's not be spending our energy managing chaos when we need wisdom. Most people's energy is tied up in all of these things. And if you don't deal with it, you don't have time to go make money and build prosperity and wealth. That's why I'm teaching this thing. Come to class. Oh, I don't have time. The reason you don't have time and energy is because of this inner confusion. So let's deal with that inner stuff, heal ourselves, and then let's go collect money. You don't like money. You don't like wealth. Hey. Let's quantum leap our life and business. Let's collaborate. Let's make waves. That's what we're doing in my school. Deal with this stuff, family stuff, this stuff, your stuff, this, gain the skills, create boundaries, move on with your life. Remove those entanglements. They're a waste because your energy is supposed to be creating wealth for you and the next generation. But you are using it to create chaos and manage chaos. You don't have time. You don't have energy anymore. And then the emotional dysregulation will make you go and do retail therapy. You will now what the money you're supposed to spend to my school. You're not going to be buying handbag because you want to feel well, because you've not dealt with the inner turmoil. Bag will give you temporary relief. It's like a drug. Retail therapy is a drug. You want to produce temporary feeling of well-being. Yes. After you finish shopping today, you go to bed again. The bag will not help you. I'm telling you facts. But when you heal yourself, you will enjoy the bag, the shoe, the life. You will enjoy it. You will enjoy those things. They will no longer be a drug. You will now be enjoying life, really, really enjoying. You'll be laughing, you'll be enjoying food, everything you create. Your family will be enjoying you, you'll be enjoying them, not running away from them and escaping. No, this is not about escape. Let's live with our real life, must delight ourselves, delight God. Yes. So, attitude. The way you handle emotion is making your body well. The way you might handle feelings is make your heart well, heal your heart. The way you handle attitude is how you're going to help other people that you've inflicted pain on, knowingly or unknowingly. The skills you will have to approach and clean that up. And I'm also saying there are times when certain people keep traumatizing you a certain way, calling you names, treating you this way, showing you this, that continues to make you agitated. You still don't have the skills to rise above it. Temporary, what you can do is restraining order. Just close the door. Don't pick the phone. Don't be in relationship, because sometimes, sometimes you need to separate and heal yourself energetically. Sometimes boundary separation might be because every time you are combusting, everything you say trigger, everything they say trigger, everything you say trigger, and there is nobody ready to mature and rise above it and be well and hold peace. One person must hold peace. And so if you haven't done the work, the person hasn't done the work, part of this is, or the person is unwilling to stop their own contribution into the combustion. Their energy, your energy, ooh, collide, explosive collide. Listen, when two energy that are positive collide, you fall in love. When two energy that are negative collide, eh, nobody likes it, repel. So unless one person is mature enough to sit and receive negative charge and not be charged, negative will produce negative, positive tend to positive, right? Unless we mature. And this is where maturity of leadership, you cannot ascend into a place of leadership in your church, in your business, without this skill, this mature skills, because it's not everybody you can be closing the door to. The person you don't like, you will learn how to still, right, relate with them, but in a way where it doesn't trouble you, it doesn't agitate you. You make room for them, they say what they want to say, and when they are done, you let them go. Your energy is not tied up in their own chaos, because many people may have chaotic thinking, chaotic vibration, because they too have their belief system. So when I teach human to human interface in the class, right, the quantum leap classes, human design classes, after you do your own inner work, which have, right, the next thing now is human to human. When they put you next to another human, your husband, your son, your child, or if you're a man, your wife, your boss, your co-worker, your client, your customer, when they now put two humans together, you have a mind, your heart and body. They have a mind, a heart and body. They have a belief system. They have feelings about you. You have feelings about them. If their feelings is not healthy for you, your feelings is not healthy for them. If their behavior is not healthy for you, their attitude to your own attitude is not healthy for them. The way they are thinking and processing thoughts about you, you can scan it and you're like crazy thoughts. You too, you are thinking, you don't know they are scanning you. They're like, this girl doesn't like me. Okay, good. When those two people collide, what happens? Right? I now teach another class in the school on this. Because your ability to engage with other human beings and interface with them will determine how far you will get to in life. Because if people don't like you, if people don't enjoy you, they don't want to put you on their team, they don't want to work with you, they don't want to hire you, you need favor. You need to go and pray to God for favor. And when you pray to God for favor, God will send you back to this thing I'm saying. Because the favor of God comes when you know God is your source and you leave people alone. You stop being entangled in people's drama. I won't talk too much about that because, again, I've today already have over delivered. Woo! That's it. That's it. Let me see. Oh, okay. Hi, One Love. Okay, you've been here. Sorry, we've been enjoying on the video side. If you want to share anything, Share your thoughts. Let me give you. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great.
How long have you
Nice to
been
see you.
here?
At least 30 minutes. Not good to see you're in high spirits and you're putting the work and you're definitely a trailblazer. I
Mm,
definitely appreciate all the value that
mm,
you bring it to people to help them break generational curses.
mm.
So thank you.
So, what are you walking away with as I begin to wrap up? Like, what's the last 30 minutes as you've listened? How have you processed what I've shared? What rose up for you? Any action items or adjustments, or continue doing any I would love to know how you've processed those things. And welcome those who just joined on the audio space. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's just more of knowledge of self, just self awareness and being aware of your environment and being accountable for the decisions you make. And
Mm,
you know, being
yes.
aware of yourself is just
Yes.
higher consciousness.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and at the beginning, so for those who are just joining, I encourage you, if you want to grab the replay, there's also a video edition on YouTube as well with the slides and the quantum leap, right, model, human design model that I put out there. There are other models in my school. So one of the things I shared at the beginning is about self. And I talked about technical skills, right, that most people, so the traditional education system for the first 20 years of everybody's life, right? The traditional school system is designed and organized to train the mind on technical skills, to make you smart, intelligent, right? And it measures intelligence through IQ, right? Your ability to take in information, process information, and release it and do work and train your body in technical competencies. That's what is measured and rewarded, okay, by the school system and by your employers. So that is a reality we live in. And you need to develop technical skills. You need to invest in growing your technical skills and competency and capacity. Absolutely. But what I've been covering today goes beyond technical skills. When I say quantum leap, what I have found is that two people with technical skills, one who have invested in self-development, will outshine, outcompete, would achieve greater success than somebody that just holds on and sits on their technical skills. Okay. So basically, the game changer when it comes to success, okay, the transformational part when it comes to success is not just technical skills, okay, it's actually absolutely life skills, wisdom, energetic growth, spirit. And I divide it into four. So there's the physical growth, you eat good food, your physical well-being, you sleep well, right? Your age, your chronological age determined by the movement of the sun, moon, right? Is that your age is determined by how many times the earth has rotated around the sun since you've been born. So if you're 35, the earth has moved around the sun 35 times. And so we measure time with the movement of the earth around itself as day and the movement of the earth around the sun, right? As it moves around itself, it also rotates around the sun 365 days, right? A year. So our age, the growth, right? Maturity, age maturity, or should I say age count, the way we count age is influenced by the movement of the stars. But there's another maturity. Intellectual maturity is governed by the exposure of your mind to information and the development of knowledge that is useful to production. I separate information from knowledge. Knowledge is synthesized information. Information is everywhere. Knowledge is not, because knowledge actually requires some form of algorithm and intelligence applied to information to make it useful. How to do certain things, okay, is more powerful than here you go. So many people will say information, we're in the information age, but knowledge is not information. You can access information, you can type anything and search for information, right? But the usefulness of information to what you're trying to produce and create, when you want to manifest, when you want to produce, it's not just all information you want to gather. You want to seek knowledge, because knowledge is power. The ability to perform certain tasks can only be performed if you know how to perform it. So the pursuit of knowledge ought to be prioritized. the pursuit of how to be a millionaire, how to start a business, anytime you want to do something, raw data is not what you're looking for. You're looking for synthesized information that is useful for performance of activities. That is what is expensive. Okay? So as long as we can mature, we can expand our consciousness when we start installing knowledge. Not just raw data that you do, unless you have the skill. And this skill, statisticians have it, economists have it, strategists, futurists have it. We can see patterns and behavior. I have a first degree in mathematics. We can take in raw data and see patterns and extract meaning and then give the world meaning. So when I teach these things, is that there are certain skills where you can see patterns, you can project, you can talk about the future. It's a skill. Most people in the world are not trained in this skill. So the more information you gather doesn't mean you're increasing and expanding in knowledge. This is part of the problem. Access to information, ChatGPT, everything doesn't make everybody successful or a millionaire, because the knowledge it takes to create $1 million business or $1 billion business is actually synthesized information. And that's what you're not going to find commonly. That's not what is not common. Knowledge is not common. Information is common. So maturing knowledge, the synthesis of knowledge, how you acquire info, even your own training, your own mind to be able to evaluate what is good for you and what's not good for you is part of expansion, maturing. Because a child will believe everything. But the adult is not supposed to believe. You're supposed to be discerning. You ought to have this brilliance that you develop to be wise enough what is good for you, what's not good for you. And when people don't have that discernment and they take everything and process it with their mind, they tend to create a state of being in their body, emotional state of being that is unwell. You start having, depression, like anxiety, dysregulated thing, right? On and on and on, which I've been teaching on the skills to clean up, life skills, right? Now, beyond just intellectual mind, right? Processing that as part of self-development, controlling your mind, disciplining your mind to perform and produce what you want it to produce, and making sure you're training your mind to give you what you want it to give you. Some people can train ChatGPT, they can't train their own mind. Okay, I won't say too much about that. Now, there's another layer when I say energetic maturity, emotional maturity, is that at your heart, your vibration, the vibration of your energy is based on your belief system, your value system, and how you process your inner being. I also talked about spiritual maturity, the divine nature, right? How much knowledge you have of yourself and your divine nature and your purpose, your life purpose, what you are here to do. It requires a certain level of intellect around spirituality. That many people who say, I don't have power, I don't have this, is because you may be you are disconnected from your divine nature, because the voice and the tonality of your divine nature is I want, I can, I have. Your divine nature doesn't think and process negativity. This version of you that is closest to God, when you discover that self, that divine nature, and you start being tuned, let the mind of Christ be in you. The divine nature doesn't talk a certain way, doesn't vibrate a certain way, doesn't believe certain things. But when people are at a distance from their divine nature, they start malfunctioning. These are the viruses. I talked about that too, right? I'm talking about previous classes. These are all connected. Everything I teach and share, they are connected. So when we now talk about the self, who is the self? You are not your mind. You are not your body. You are not your heart, right? But you are responsible. You are responsible for managing your energy, your resources, and what you produce with those two things in reality. That is the assignment of the self. And the self has different maturity level, because your mind may have been programmed by your past and it's on autopilot doing what it was programmed to do. You've become the person you were supposed to become. The question now is it to your favor? Is it to the favor of the self? Because when the self wants to manifest at the quantum layer, the self has to grow up and mature. And many people may not understand that training yourself, the school system didn't do it. The school system trained your mind, and your mind trained your body. But when it comes to your well-being and relationships with yourself, with the world, and how much success you can unlock. Only your divine self can achieve that. So on that note, I'm wrapping up for today. Thank you everybody that joined. Again, toyinumesiri.academy, full program there. I've also unlocked specific classes, okay, at the YouTube membership. I recommend strongly, if you join, take the game plan, 12 strategies for winning in life and business. Start with that, right? The YouTube membership, I've been playing around with it. I I wish I could flag that class. So when you join, that's the first class you will take. But search for it, the game plan, 12 strategies for winning in life and business. It's a 3-hour masterclass. Sit with it. PowerPoint, PowerPoint. Each life strategy comes with a slide explaining the strategy you can now implement in your life to be great, right? To be more successful. Okay, so I invite you to join the YouTube. I've included that in the YouTube membership. I invite you to join the YouTube membership today. Take the game plan, 12 strategies for winning in life and business. Listen, when you understand these 12 strategies and you embody it and you use it to retrain yourself, it's going to rewire your belief system. Because many people believe, I cannot, I don't have, I don't do this, I don't do. That is a wrong belief system. It produces its kind. Whatever you believe, you are manifesting. So how do we, reprogram, right? This will help you reprogram your belief system. So you can believe, will help you raise your vibration into the realm of possibilities. Okay? Because ultimately, if you keep saying, I cannot do this, like, you have to shift and raise your vibration to produce at higher levels and dimensions. So this class will help you immediately raise your vibration and start getting better results in your life. So I encourage you to do that. Team replay, keep dropping the comments. Listen, when I'm when I'm seeing those comments come in, it makes me smile, laugh. I reply, I respond. If you have any questions, drop those as well. Thank you, Roller Girl. I see, and thanks to those who, was it the super chat? Roller Girl was telling me super chat. Thank you. I'll go check it and learn more about it. But thank you to those who dropped, your ad end money. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, One Love, Mark, Jessica, Sweet. The replay is on. So if you want to catch the replay before I delete it on Clubhouse, do that as well. God bless you. Bye for now. Thanks, One Love.